going to do a series on Understanding Women by Alison Armstrong. And you've heard me tell the guys, every man should be required to read No More Mr. Nice Guy before they get a driver's license, graduate high school, graduate college, get married. You need that book.
Yeah.
And I would argue this audiobook is something everyone needs to listen to. I've probably been 2 years since I've listened to it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of overdue, and we're on a road trip, so we thought we would listen to it, kind of discuss it, some of the different points, because we might have different perspectives.
Why?
You know?
Why would we have different perspectives?
I don't know, because you're a woman, and you are not a man?
I am not a man.
So, in today's world, you hear the constant, men and women are the same, equality, and it's completely freaking wrong. Is there equality with men and women? Yes. Are we the same?
We are not the same.
No, we are not the same. Equal, not same. Exactly. You give that little adjustment there. And that's the big difference. And she talks about how women, and they look at men as hairy women, and they want us to behave like they think they are supposed to behave, which is one of the biggest problems, because we are not women. And we do not behave the same way.
And that's not a bad thing.
No. And men are not, so we're not a man with boobs, you know?
Yeah. The way that she says this, it gets all weird. I'm not a man with boobs.
You're not a man with boobs?
You're not a hairy woman.
I'm not a hairy woman.
I do that too, though, all the time. Every time I think about the phrase, I twist it around. But essentially, we are different.
And it isn't... It is the way we are wired. I want to be very clear. She talks about caveman, cavewoman. Our DNA hasn't changed for 10,000 years. It's not going to change. The reality is men are wired one way, women are wired another. It isn't right or wrong.
It has to do with the hormonal stages that we go through different parts of life. We both have those different stages, and a lot of it has to do with that wiring.
Yeah.
So.
And in this first part, she talks about women in diffuse awareness.
Yeah.
And men, we have singular focus. We are mission-oriented. We do what needs to be done. We can, as long as the house isn't on fire, we can walk through the house to get to the tool in the shed in the back, come back, we don't see anything else.
And I think that's part of why it meant so much to me on the way to Colorado when we were on our way there.
Yeah.
What's the one thing I asked for?
To stop at a town you used to live in.
Stop at a town that my dad grew up in. My grandma lived in, I mean, it's a middle of nowhere, nothing
Small
town.
Kansas town.
But I wanted to kind of see it, and you did not rush me. You were not mission focused.
I can be guilty of that too.
That it meant a lot to me.
But you don't have excessive requests or demands. One, you don't have demands, first off. That doesn't go over well. But you don't have excessive requests, and it was kind of a cute little town. And the one thing where Alison and I would disagree a little bit, she talks about women, because of the diffuse awareness, multitask. Multitasking isn't a thing. What we do as humans is we switch tasks.
Yeah.
Or if it's between two tasks, it's toggle.
Yeah.
And I have in my past life, I am undefeated in disproving people who think they can multitask the same as singular tasks. And I've got a test I give verbally, and they destroy themselves. I've had one person come close, disturbingly close, because there is that, like, 1/2 of 1% freakish that can actually, because they must have their brain wired wrong.
They might have ADHD, but yeah.
But again, you're switching, you're not doing, you can't do multiple things at once besides the walking, talking, chewing gum type stuff that require any attention. What you do is you switch from this task to, now, the difference is women are going, I have these 10 things. And you're going back and forth to all different things. Where a man's like, I got to take care of this. And when I'm done with that, I can move on to the next thing.
Right.
And when I was programming the TV in the basement, that was a good example. I was very focused on that.
You were hyper-focused on that.
I was getting a little annoyed because it something didn't take, I did it correctly. I know I did. I went back through, reset everything, did the same thing, and then it worked. I was like, okay.
But when women are doing like the toggling between different tasks and everything, do you know how long it takes to gain full focus back onto what you're doing when you switch?
It can be based on these things I've seen on multitasking, because it decreases your efficiency between 5 and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The reality is, when you are this is why it's so important, man. When you're working, you have the sign on your door, do not disturb. If you're doing deep work, you need to not be interrupted, because I know in those studies on just work stuff, it can take up to 20 minutes sometimes to get back into that groove of the work you were doing. So that's why you don't want to be interrupted. It's no different with multitasking or switching between tasks.
If you ever wonder and don't understand why your wife is frazzled at the end of the day when all she did was stay home.
Yeah. And why didn't she get everything done?
Because she kept switching tasks. She had the kids. She had the
and when
dog,
there's kids, can kids sometimes throw your schedule off?
Oh, dear God.
Now, to be fair, I want to be very clear. A lot of the studies that came out on this multitasking stuff was after, I think this was recorded, give or take a little, so it's not like she's saying this and there's all this research out there. There's a couple of studies, because it's just one of those things. But they still have the same challenges associated with switching from task to task to task, and the house talking to them. She talks about that.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
Yes. Yeah. I've always got like 20 things. I'm like, I should do this. This is a project that needs to be done. This needs to be done. Oh, I don't want to look at that one.
Men, this is why hotel sex is so much better. The house isn't talking to her. The room isn't talking. She doesn't have to make the bed. She can turn her brain off, so to speak.
Yeah. And that's what we mean when we say turn our brains off and not have to think.
Yeah.
Not, I'm an airhead, but I don't have to think about all the demands.
So, what if a woman who has to be with diffuse awareness, are there any challenges? They also have ADHD?
No, dear. Yes. I will never forget, we were in Minnesota and we were with Matt and Charlie, and we went to a sports bar for lunch. Mm-hmm. And I remember Charlie was really interested in ADHD at the time. He was asking me a lot of questions, and my son and I were there, and we walk into the sports bar and he goes, hey, what's it like having diffuse awareness and ADHD? And then step into an environment like this on top of it.
With 30 TVs.
Yeah, and all the blinking lights and all the games and all the stuff. And I'm like, well, did you kind of notice that both my son and I kind of drew our energy in? But yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's weird because they are distinct, but they overlap so much and compound on each other.
So, this is something, and she talked about the best way to get her out of her head, is how I described this part, is to touch her. So, and she talked about some of the challenges with sex.
Well, oxytocin does a whole lot for focus, Mm-hmm. That's where the touch comes in. And go ahead.
No.
I was just going to lead it back into you were going towards sex.
Yeah, because, well, I'm me. Well, yeah. But she talked about it, how, they're exhausted by the time they go to bed.
Yeah.
And she made some allegation that men can just fall asleep. Do you have any evidence to prove or disprove that?
I don't really have evidence, but I got people that can back it up. You crash out like within 10 seconds of hitting that pillow.
Yeah, because it's bedtime.
Which I gotta say I appreciate a little bit, because there are times that you force yourself to not crash out so that we can have a little pillow talk.
Yep. And if you're exhausted, if you wait till she comes, and she talked about women coming to bed later, they're exhausted by then. And when a woman's exhausted, gentlemen, they are not interested in having sex. It's nothing personal. So, again, it's different when you have an empty nest. You know what I say. Have sex before you go out. midday sex, that's the best.
Yeah.
Empty stomach, still have plenty of energy, and you might get a double dip at the tail end of the day because things may line up.
Yeah.
But you have to understand there are things that are working against your sex life through no fault of hers and no fault of your own.
Right.
So that's what I want to emphasize on this. We have singular focus. Women have diffuse awareness. Neither is good or bad, or both are good.
Right.
But we have to be aware of it. It's why we are the way we are. Again, we're wired different. It isn't right or wrong.
There are pros and cons to both,
Yes.
and they complement each other nicely if you understand how the other one functions.
Yes, so that's the first part. This is going to be a multi-part series as we cover the entire audiobook and kind of give a little recap. And I'm going to strongly encourage you to go to the link below. If you've never listened to it, you need to download it and listen to it. And we will see you on the next video.